YouTube. This is your girl, Shanti Love or Love That Cash 23. This is my first YouTube video that I will be making, and mostly I will be doing story times, and I might get into doing other things later on. And this is my third try doing this video. I've had people calling me, I've had my kids yelling, I have all kinds of crazy stuff going on, so we're going to try to do this and knock this one out. So, oh, by the way, I want to say that I am inspired by a YouTuber. Her name is just just Boss and Beautiful Basima. You don't know me, but shout out to you. I watch your videos, and she does a lot of story time. And I'm not gonna say our life is similar because it's not, but it inspired me to share some of my videos, my stories, because I am 28 years old now, but I've had a difficult life, some good, some bad, and so yeah, I just would really love to share it with YouTube, and I might can help, some people. You might smile, you might cry, you never know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my storytime videos. And so this first one I'm gonna knock out is going to be about being a teenage mother, and how I got over some of my hurdles and how my life has changed to this day. And I do have 3 children now. And so I'm going to talk about my first son and how I had him at the age of 13. I was very young. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this. Oh, and I am not condoning teenage pregnancy. I just say wait to have any type of sexual activity. Wait until you're at least like 19, 20 years old. Definitely use birth control, wrap it up. Just don't do it. Just enjoy your childhood, because you will look back at it later on and wish that you would have changed a lot of things. And I'm not saying that I regret anything that I've done, but I wish I could have waited, and just changed some things in my life. But moving forward, I'm going to jump into my story. So in 1999, my mother moved us from San Bernardino to Los Angeles, and we moved in the outskirts of Los Angeles. It was a nice community. They were building some new homes and everything. My mom was just like changing her life and getting her life in order with us. And I'm going to make a video about my childhood and the things I went through with my parents and different things like that later on. So she moved to this new place. It was a gated community. It was like brand new houses they had built, and they had like a big old playhouse in the front where like families can come down and swim, and they had a pool. They had a tennis court, a basketball court. They had a place where you can go like play pool, and just all kinds of different things they had here. You can have parties down there, all kinds of stuff. And so we had moved to this place, and the first day that we moved in, I was like really excited. This was my first time ever having like my own room and everything. We had a front yard, a backyard, and I was just like so happy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make friends. And so my first day moving into this place, I went outside, and my mother, she wasn't the type of person to be on us, to be like, oh, what are you doing, where you're at when you coming in the house, nothing like that. She tried her best in as being a parent, but some things she definitely failed at. But I love my mother to this day, and so she did the best she could. So I walked around this place, and I'm like, just looking at everything, and just finding my way around and see if I see any kids playing outside. So I was very friendly. I was very sweet and nice. I didn't think about boys or none of that. I was definitely searching for love, though. I can say that because my father was not in the picture. I'm going to do a story about that. And my mom was always busy. So it was just really me by myself all the time. So I wanted some friends because I left my best friend back in San Bernardino, and I was really hurt about that. And so I walked around and I seen this guy. We're gonna call him Phil. So I see this guy. I see Phil, and he's riding on a bike. And he was really cute. He was light skinned, green eyes, curly hair. I was like, he is cute. And a little thuggish way. And I was like, okay, he's my type. Not, girl, you ain't got no type, you 12. So, anyways, I go walk over there by him, and he talks to me, and he, it's like, oh, you're new around here, huh? I never seen you before. You're cute. And I was like, oh, thank you. And so he asked me, like, where I moved from and different things like that. And so we talked for a little bit, chopped it up, and then I had went ahead and left and went home. And so after going home, we're gonna fast forward 3 weeks, and so I finally met some friends. I met two friends. I met my white girl. I'll call her name is Shay. We're gonna call her Shay. Her name's not Shay, but we're gonna call her Shay. And then I met another friend, and her name's Ashley. And so her name really is Ashley, but I don't know her anymore. I haven't spoke with her since back then. And her father worked at the place. It was at the little clubhouse place, and she used to come from Tennessee to come see him all the time, like, and stay for a couple of months and then go back to Tennessee. So we had like, got really close with each other, and she was there for a couple of months. And so we would always go outside, walk around, play with the other kids and different things like that. And we seen the guy Phil, and we knew he was a little older than us, but not much. And he was cool, and he was really sweet and nice to us. And so he sees her, he sees Ashley, and he liked Ashley, and she wasn't really into him at all. And unless she was just playing that way, I don't know. But I wasn't really into him either. I thought he was cute, but that's about all. And so him and his friend was standing by the pool, and we stayed there and talked with him for a little bit and stuff like that. Watched them play basketball. So for like probably a few more weeks, like every time we went outside, we would hang out with them. They'd play basketball, stuff like that. We'd just be hanging out outside. So Ashley ends up going back to Tennessee. And so I was more so hanging out with my friend Shay, and she was kind of not out there. Me and her are still best friends to this day. I love her. And so she wasn't out there, but she experienced more things than I did at that age. She was more so into things that I wasn't into, but I kind of jumped into it. Not saying that I was a follower, because I wasn't, but she introduced me into some things that I kind of went ahead and liked and didn't like, things like that. So we end up seeing Phil, and he had a friend, and we're gonna call him we're gonna go ahead and call him Mac. So Phil and Mac. So we're gonna call him Mac. And so my friend Shay, and she liked his friend Mac, and I liked Phil. Not really even liked him. I just thought he was cute. And so after Ashley left and went back to Tennessee, we would hang out with him and his friend. Same thing, watch them play basketball. We would go swimming together and stuff like that. So he told me he was 16 years old. And back then, I would lie my age. I did. And I told him I was 15. And so, and my friend, she also lied too, because me and her was the same age. She said she was like 15 years old. And so we would hang out with them all the time. And so things started to get not serious, but we would hang out a lot, to the point where me and Shay would be like, okay, her mom didn't really care what she did either. Half the stuff I don't think her mom even knew that she was doing. So we would be like, okay, we would tell Phil and Mac, like, so-and-so time we're going to come outside, we're going to sneak outside. Like late at night, it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll sneak out our windows. I'll walk down the street to her house, and she'll sneak out, and we'll go meet up with them. And I'm not condoning this, don't do it. But I used to steal beer, out of my mom's refrigerator and I used to take it down to the basketball court, and the basketball court was like enclosed, like with a gate around it, so you couldn't see inside of it. And it had green turp, like the turp stuff, I think I'm saying it right, hanging down, so you couldn't see inside of the basketball court. So we would go in there with them, and we weren't doing anything. We would drink, um, and sometimes smoke, and so we started doing that a lot, hanging out with them. And so my friend Shay, she really liked his friend Mac. So one time her mom was it? No, my mom was gone. My mom was working the night shift, and my mother was gone. So they came back to my house, and we sat there and we drank, and we chilled. And this happened a few times. And the guy Phil, he was growing his hair out. I told you he had curls. He had some really nice hair. He was growing his hair out. So he wanted me to braid his hair for him, grease his hair, and, braid it, put rubber bands at the end. That's what he wanted me to do. So that was particularly one night I had his hair, and we had drank my mom's beer, 211. Oh, young and toe up. Not a good mixture. So he ended up leaving. His friend Mac and my friend Shay were inside of the room doing whatever they were doing. I'm sure I know what, but you know, doing whatever they were doing. And then after that, Phil and his friend left. And so the next morning, my friend Shay, she stayed and spent the night. The next morning, my mom came home, and we had a ramp in our driveway that kind of went up a little bit, and it made a noise every time my mom came inside the driveway. It was like a doom doom, like when she pulled in. And so I always knew, okay, my mom's home. So my mom came home. Me and my friend was still asleep. She came home, and she came inside the living room, and then she went and woke us up, and she was like, what y'all was doing? We were like, nothing. We stayed up playing and stuff all night in the living room. No. And she was like, 'cause it smell like men in here. I was like, what? She was like, it smelled like it's some man being up in here. She was like, I smell hair grease, I smell cologne, and one of my beers is missing out of the refrigerator. I was like, I don't know, Mama. I have no idea. Maybe you miscounted it, or maybe one of my sisters came to get it, because I had an older sister. She used to come to the house whenever she wanted to come get away and leave. And I was like, maybe she took it. Maybe she took your beer. I don't know. So, anyways, we're gonna forward. That was one particular night that I had remembered. So we're gonna forward probably like a week, no, a whole year, because me and him was friends for like a whole year. We did this off and on, like hanging out, him coming to my house, me going to my friend's house. His mom was really strict. Phil's mom was really strict, and she wasn't having it. The most he could do was sneak out of his window at night when everybody was sleeping in their house. So we did this for like a whole year. So 2002, around I want to say summertime, yeah, we really start liking each other. And he still didn't know how old I was. I was still lying my age. And so one night he came over, Mac too, his friend Mac. They came over to my house because my mom was at work gone. Shay came over, and they hooked up inside of the living room, and me and Phil went inside of my room and shut the door. We were smoking that night, yeah, and we went inside of my room, and he sat on the end of my bed, and I sat on his lap, and he was like, "So what you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know," I was so young. It's like, I don't know, what do you want to do? So then we start kissing and stuff, and it ended up leading to me losing my virginity to Phil. And I lost my virginity to Phil that night. So after that, I was like really scared of doing anything. Like, I was shocked myself that I even did anything. So I kind of stopped talking to him for a little bit, probably maybe like a week or so. And so I was like, I seen him around, and so he was like, why you not talking to me no more? And I was just like, I don't know, I just feel weird about what we did. So he just kind of comforted me. Was like, it's okay, like, we don't have to do nothing like that again. Like, you know what I mean? If you didn't want to, we didn't have to, like, and it was completely up to me. He didn't force me to do anything. And so we ended up hanging out again. We didn't touch each other again. We didn't do anything. I didn't want to do nothing again. I felt really bad that I did anything. And so he would just come over and hang out with me, come over and hang out with me. So like 4 months passed, and I started to gain a little bit of weight. I was really small. I was like 100 pounds, and I started to gain a little bit of weight. And I used to feel sick. I was throwing up. And my sister, my big sister, she actually passed away, so rest in peace. Her name was Diamond. My big sister, I told you, she used to come over to my mom's house every now and then. And she told my mom, she was like, Shanti looks a little funny, like she's walking different, and she looked like she's been having sex. My mom's like, no, she ain't doing nothing like that. She's not like that. Like, she's a good kid. And I was a good kid, except that part. And so my sister's like, no, I don't know. So my mom mentioned it to me, but she left it alone. And then my friend Shay, she kept saying like what's wrong with you? Like your stomach looks a little bulged out. It wasn't a lot, but it was just a little pudge I had. It wasn't normally there. And she was kept on playing with me, and she was like, "You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You're pregnant." And I was like, "Girl, don't say that. Like, I'm a kid. Like, don't say that." And so, you know, my mom one time was talking to my friend Shay, and she was like, "What y'all be doing?" and stuff like that. And Shay was like, "We don't do nothing. We just be playing, hanging out, and things like that." Oh, and my mom had custody of my other sister, her children. She had custody of her grandson and her granddaughter, and I took care of them most of the time while my mom was gone. And one time, Phil has came over to our house, and I told my niece and nephew, I was like, I'll give you guys cookies and stuff. Just don't say nothing. Go in the room, go watch cartoons. Let him come over and hang out with me. So that day that my mom was talking to Shay, my niece and nephew had told her that I had boys in the house, and I didn't know that they had told her that. So that's why she pulled Shay to the side to ask her what was going on, what we were doing. So Shay's like, we don't be doing nothing. We just be hanging out playing. And so my mom calls me in there. She's like, yeah, your niece and nephew told me that you had some boys inside the house. You better not be having no boys in my house, or you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get a whooping. And I'm like, they didn't come inside the house. They were just outside. And, they lying. They not telling the truth. So my mom didn't really go any further than that. And then, so I started feeling like I didn't know what pregnancy felt like. So I don't know. I just thought that maybe I was sick or something like that. So one time my mom had left again for the night shift to leave, and this time I kind of wanted Phil to come over and hang out, and so he came over to hang out, and it was just him. His friend didn't come. My friend Shay wasn't there. And so we did end up having intercourse again that day. And that was 4 months after we had the first time that we did anything. And so he actually fell asleep. We both fell asleep inside of my room on the bed. And my niece and nephew were asleep inside of their room. And it probably was like, my mom came home probably like 6:30 in the morning. And so I heard the ramp inside of our driveway go boom, boom. And it immediately woke me up out of my sleep. So I'm like, oh my God, my mom is here. My mom is here. And he was asleep on my bed. He was asleep on my bed. And so my mom came inside so fast, it was no time for him to get up and go. So I just pushed him inside of my closet and shut my closet door. And so I go out inside of the living room, and we had a back door. And my mom came in through the back door, through the kitchen, and I'm standing right there by the counter, acting like nothing happened. I'm trying to like kind of distract her so he could probably try to make his way out or something. I don't know. And so my mom was there. She would not leave out of the living room. And the living room and the kitchen's like here and here, and it's the front door and then the back door. So it's like no way he can get out. And I had a window, but our house set up high, and so out of my room window he couldn't. He could jump out, but it'd probably make some noise, and so he wasn't trying to make no noise. So my niece and nephew came inside of the living room, and they, went ahead and said something to my mom, and they were like, Shanti has a boy inside of her room. And my mom was like, what? And they're like, yeah, there's a boy inside of her room right now. And I don't know how they knew that he was still there or what. Maybe they was up and I thought they was sleeping. They wasn't. I don't know. So my mom goes inside my room. She looks around. She's like, ain't nobody up in here. And I don't know if he like made noise or something that made her go to the closet. So she went to the closet and opened up the closet, and he was sitting in the closet. My heart dropped. I know his heart dropped. So my mom like, come out the closet. Like, come on out, come on out, come out the closet. So we walk inside of the living room, and my mom's like drilling him like, so how long you've been, you know, sneaking inside of my house, coming inside of my house? I knew it was a guy or boys coming here, because it smelled like grease and cologne, and my beard's been coming up missing, stuff like that. And he's, talking to her like, oh no, like this is my first time ever coming over here. And so we didn't do nothing. We were just, hanging out, talking and stuff. And so anyways, I went ahead and just told my mom the real, because I didn't want to hide it or anything like that. And so she didn't trip, but she was like, he can't come over here, you can't do that. Like, and she didn't even tell him how old I was. Like, I begged my mom while he was standing there, and he didn't even see me. I'm like, 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 don't tell. My mom, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm a totally different parent. Like, I'm not having it. But anyways, my mom didn't tell him how old I was. I really liked him like so much. Like, I loved him. Okay. And so after that situation occurred, he didn't come over for a while, probably like a month or so. We talked on the phone, we seen each other around, but he didn't come to my house anymore. And so all through that time, I was getting sick. I was like gaining weight. My stomach was getting kind of hard and stuff. And I didn't understand what was going on. So my stomach was hurting me really bad one day. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, my stomach hurts really bad. Like, something's wrong. I need to go to the hospital. So my mom lifts up my shirt and she looks at my stomach. She was like, and it wasn't really big, but she was just like, what is going on? Like, your stomach, it looks like you're pregnant. She was like, have you been doing anything? And of course I lied and said no, I wasn't doing anything, but I was. So I'm like complaining, my stomach hurts. She didn't think that I was doing anything. She believed me. So she took me to the hospital. And when we went to the hospital, the doctors, checked my stomach, and it was like, it's something going on. She got a tumor or something's going on. So they did an ultrasound. And in this ultrasound, it was a full baby. A full baby. Head, 2 arms, legs, feet, like a whole baby, like developed. So they told my mom, like, she's pregnant. She's 6 months. They didn't have to tell her nothing because we were both sitting there when they were doing the ultrasound and seeing it. I was 6 months pregnant when I found out. Too late to do anything, to even consider an abortion or anything like that, which I probably wouldn't even have done that in the beginning. My mom probably wouldn't even have let me do that. So we were just like, I was crying. My mom was just in shock. Like, she didn't know what to think or say. She shook her head like, she didn't know what to do. And yeah, so I was just like, why? I just can't believe it. My whole life just ended right then and there. And so we ended up getting a printout of the ultrasound of the baby. And so we went home, and my mom was like, you need to call him and you need to call his mother, and they need to come here now. I was so scared because his mom was mean. Like, she didn't like me at all. Every time I want to even go, like, knock on a door or something like that to see if he's home, like, she would have an attitude problem or whatever like that. She didn't like me. And so I was, like, so scared. And so I called him, and I told him, I was like, it's very important, like, please, you and your mom. And, like, he knew something was wrong because he was like, my mom, why does my mom need to come? Like, you know what? And I was like, me and my mom needs, to tell you guys some important information. So they came to the house, and we all just stood inside the kitchen and talked. And my mom talked to his mom and told her the situation, that I was pregnant. I was 6 months, and he looked like he had died and came back. He looked like a ghost. He was pale as hell. Like, he was in shock. He didn't even understand. And he looked like he was a little mad too. For what? Why? You did the same thing I did. His mom was pissed, and she just was like, well, what are we gonna do? You can put it up for adoption. You can, like, my son can't raise no child right now. Like, he's a kid, she's a kid, and then my age ended up coming out. But my mom told, I was 12. My mom told them I was 13. I don't know why, but she told them I was 13. I don't know why. Anyways, he was 16 at the time. So his mom was, like, really upset, and she was just disappointed. My mom was disappointed, but she was like, my daughter's gonna have this baby. She's gonna take care of it, and I'm gonna help her in any way that I can. And my mom also had a baby at a young age. She was 14. So yeah. So after that, his mom had left, and they spoke with me. His mom was definitely like, well, if you do keep the baby, he's gonna definitely, like, be there and help you take care of this baby and do his part. And I'm not gonna help you raise the baby, but if my grandbaby need anything, then I will help out, like that. So they end up leaving. So I was already 6 months, so I only had a few months left to go. So his me and my mom start preparing for what happened, telling our family and things like that, my stepfather and stuff, and he was highly upset. It just was so much confusion. My real father, like, my whole family was just, like, looking at my mom like, how did you let this happen? How did you let her do this? And my mom's like, I had to work and to take care of her. I didn't know what she was out here doing, and I was lying and hiding and sneaking from my mom, so she didn't know. It wasn't really her fault. She could have done a better job, of course, but it's on me. It was my decision. I did it. So we're preparing for the baby and everything to come, and I had to leave school. I couldn't go to the same school that I was going to. I had to go to a continuation school for troubled kids, or kids that were pregnant, which was really sad because I wasn't a troubled kid. So I had to go to school with kids that were, like, just got out of juvie and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? They just threw me to the side. So at this school, I was the youngest girl there that was pregnant. All the other girls were like 16, 17, or 18 years old, and trying to finish school, trying to graduate. And so I had got drilled. Like, it was this one teacher there. Her name was Miss Martinez, and I will never forget this lady. She was so mean to me. She treated me bad. She tried to get my baby taken away from me, like, everything. She just, like, hated me to the core because I was so young, I guess. I don't know. So I went to the school, and every time I went to the school, I was just, like, depressed. I was sad. I would get really sick. I remember the teacher called social workers to my mom's house to try to pop up on us to see, because she just was really pushing the fact, like, why is she so young and she's pregnant? My mom was like, this is not the first time this ever occurred. That lady was the teacher, Miss Martinez, was acting like that was the first time this ever happened in the world. Like, this is not right. Like, her mom needs to be in jail, and y'all need to take the baby. And, it was just crazy. And so, I was just really just going through a lot. I was so depressed every time I went to school. Um, the teacher would just really pick on me. I'll try to do my homework, and I liked makeup then, so I would put makeup on my face and do my hair and stuff like that. And I remember one time she came to me, and she was like, "Why you got all that makeup on your face?" And I looked like, "Why?" Because I like makeup. And she was like, "You don't need to be wearing no makeup." And I was like, "Well, my mom lets me wear makeup, so I'm wearing makeup." I got a little smart with her. And she was like, "Yeah, because you need to be worrying about your schoolwork and stuff like that, and how you gonna be taking care of that baby that you got coming right now, instead of putting makeup on your face." What does makeup and my child have to do with anything like that? Come on now. If anything, I mean, I know that it's wrong, but don't treat me like that. Like, you know what I mean? Help build me up, help me make better decisions so I can be a better person and a better mom. She didn't do that. So like it was off and on, like social workers coming to our house and trying to actually take me away from my mom. And then they were like, if we take her, then after she has the baby, we don't know for sure if she'll be able to keep the baby. The baby might be, placed in a different home. So my mom like really fought to make sure that I was able to keep my baby. They tried to put me in juvenile hall because they said I snatched the paper out of the teacher, Miss Martinez's hand, and she felt threatened. Like, it was so bad. So my mom was just so tired of it. So she ended up going to the court building and filing a complaint against the teacher. So we had to have a little meeting and everything and sit down and talk about things that was going on in the school with the teacher and I. And it was social workers there. It was like the school board was there. And it was one of the school nurses that was there. She used to come every month and like measure our bellies, the pregnant girls, their bellies, and um, listen to the heartbeats and different stuff like that. And so everybody was there inside this little office. I'll never forget this day. We were sitting inside a round table, and I was just already worn out, and I was probably already like about due. I think I was already 9 months, 38 weeks or something. Yeah, I was like 38 weeks pregnant. And we were sitting around this round table, and my kids are yelling. And the teacher was just like going in on me, talking about how I shouldn't be that young, pregnant, and what's going on in the household. I come to school dressed like I'm grown. I come with makeup on, and my mom's like, well, basically, my daughter likes to look pretty, and I didn't even dress like grown. I like to wear skirts. I like little heels. I like. Okay, baby, I'm making a video. You get cookies. That's my youngest. Shut the door. Shut the door. And so, I like to wear like dresses and little heels and stuff like that. And I like to do my makeup. I stay with my hair done. My hair always was done and stuff like that. So it almost was like the teacher was like jealous of me or something, like literally. And I don't like to say that, but that's how it really felt. And so her saying all this stuff at the table, and my mom trying to defend me, and me trying to speak up and say the stuff that she was doing to me in school, harassing me, making me clean out like refrigerators and clean out the bathroom at the school. Like, this is what all the girls had, like a day that they would clean stuff, and she would always give me the hardest job to do. And so I would tell them that, or make me do something by myself, and I was just explaining all the stuff that was going on. And so I remember I just busted out crying. Like, I was just like tired of it all. I was tired of it. My mother-in-law, well, now she's my mother-in-law. I was going to wait to tell you guys that. But Phil's mother, she was like, drilling the fact that I was so young too, and about to have a baby. And she really didn't like me. And she wouldn't let me come to her house or nothing like that. Like, I had to stand outside, like different stuff like that. Later on, she embraced me. Before I had the baby, she embraced me and let me come over to like cookouts and stuff like that. um and then so anyways, I ended up busting out just breaking down crying. I was just like, I'm tired of this. Like, y'all not about to take my baby. Like, I will run away. I swear to God, I will leave and y'all will never see me again. Like, and then I started throwing up because I was so hysterical. I was just like so tired of it. And so the nurse and the one of the people from the school board was like, you know what, we can't keep doing this to her, because if you look and you see she's stressed out, she's stressing her baby out, she's stressed, like it's too much going on. We need to just cut this, leave it in the bud. Like, we're gonna transfer you into another class where you're not with this teacher. Um, they told the teacher basically just stay away from me, my family. Like, she tried to go to court on all kinds of crazy stuff she tried to do. So they was like, you know, you have to stay away from her. And they were like, just let her have her baby and be in peace. And there was no way that they could take me from my mom, because my mom worked, she had her a home, she had a vehicle, there was no drugs in the house, there was like nothing, no way that they could take me from her. And so that teacher was really trying to press that issue to try to get me out of my mom's home. And so they ended up leaving me alone. And for I was 38 weeks pregnant, and Phil's mom ended up kicking him out the house because of everything. She kicked him out of the house, and so he had a bag of clothes, and he came up to my house, and my mom embraced him, and she let him come and live with us. And he, you know, he loved my mom so much for that. His mom just was like, you know, you out here doing this, got a kid on the way and all that, like, you got to get out of my house. So he came to stay with us. My mom was like, that's better. We're not going to tell anyone, but I think it's best for him to be here with you, since you guys are about to have this baby, and, you know, he can help you with the baby and stuff. And we were not worried about any type of sexual activity. Like, we were going through so much, sex didn't even come nowhere near our minds. You know, we were just really worried about our baby that was about to come, and, you know, all the struggles with it. So he ended up moving in with us. My mom ended up giving me the master bedroom inside of the house. And, you know, I made sure we had everything, baby crib, um, you know, all the space we needed. My baby had diapers and clothes and everything. His mom bought some stuff too. Phil's mom bought some clothes and diapers and stuff. And I had my mom threw me a baby shower inside of the clubhouse thing that I was telling you guys about. And a few of my family members came and supported us and got us some stuff, but a lot of my family was like not okay with it. They didn't want to see us or nothing like that. So I had a baby shower, got some clothes and things like that. Like, I had a lot of stuff for my baby actually. And so I ended up passing my due date, and I was 42 weeks pregnant. And I was so tiny and so little, and my belly was huge, and I was just tired of being pregnant. And my mom had a treadmill inside of her house, and she was like, just walk on the treadmill a little bit, and you know, see how that goes. She had me get inside of the tub for a little bit and soak inside the tub. So finally I started progressing and going into labor after doing the walk-in and everything. And Phil had left because one of his friends had passed away actually in Los Angeles, so he had left to go to his funeral, and I ended up going into labor. And so my mom took me to the hospital, and oh my God, my mom took me to the hospital, and when I got to the hospital and they seen how young I was and everything, the nurses, the doctors, everybody treated us so bad. Like, they treated us so bad. Of course, they gave me the regular care that everybody's gonna get, but it was no like, hi, how can I help you? Or like a, oh, congratulations on the baby, or everything's gonna be okay, or it's okay, you can do it, or it was none of that. It was just all like down looking us, and smirks and whispering and talking throughout the hospital. And I remember there was one nurse that was really, really nice. that was really nice. And she had also told my mom, she was like, you know, this is not the first time this has ever happened. And she was telling us how some of the nurses and stuff were talking about the situation out, you know, inside of the work area. And she was like, you know, don't even let it phase you. She was like talking to me. She was like, you know, you're a strong girl. You already been through a lot. Like, you can do it. Like, you know what I mean? And so she really encouraged me and my mom to like just lift our heads up and be like, we can do this. And so my sister was there. One of my sisters was there. My friend Shay was there. Her mom and her mom's friend was uh, my birthing coach. And so I couldn't handle the pain, of course. I was so young. So they drugged me up to the full capacity, okay? I was drugged up. They gave me epidural, they gave me morphine, they gave me Demerol, whatever the hell it is that they had, they gave it to me. I just remember it like a fuzzy dream. But I do remember when it was time for me to push my baby out, the nurse, it was an Indian, I mean, not the nurse, it was a doctor. He was an Indian guy. And he was so mean to me while I'm, you know, about to deliver. He's like just talking to me like so stern and just so mean. Like he was like he was talking to me like I was a kid. I was a kid, but you just come on now, like let me enjoy this moment. Like this is something I'm gonna remember forever. So don't put any bad memories into this for me. He did. So I remember it was time for me to push, and the little green sheets they put on you, and the tools that they have, you know, sitting around. He put a little green sheet on me for the baby to sit the baby on, and they had a mirror behind me so I could see me push, and I wanted to see me pushing my baby out, and the doctor, like, I was trying to look, and the doctor like swung the mirror to the other side of the room, and I was like, I want to see. He was like, you need to concentrate on pushing this baby out. Like, I am concentrating on pushing the baby out. Like, but I still want to see. I want to look. So he just swung the mirror to the side. My mom was like, just come on, let's just push. And my mom told him, like, you know, just calm down and do your job. And I remember that green blanket thing, towel thing he put on me. And I was holding my legs so I could push. And he was like, don't touch that. Don't put your hands on that. And I was just the whole time, like, how everybody was just treating me. I was just so sad and disappointed. Like, I know I made a mistake, you know, but I'm still a human being. Like, I was just treated like I was just a dog, or like I was just inhuman because was pregnant at a young age. It was just so wrong. So anyways, I pushed my baby out. He set the baby on top of my stomach on the green sheet and cleaned him up and wrapped him up. He didn't even want me to touch my baby or move the baby or anything. I didn't even get to look at my baby. So he immediately gave my baby to the nurse, and the nurse took him off to the side to, you know, clean him up and all that stuff. My sister cut the umbilical cord because Phil didn't make it yet. He knew that I was in labor and he was on his way back. He was waiting on someone else because, you know, he was young too. He didn't have a car or nothing. So he was waiting for one of his family members to bring him back. And so my baby's over here getting worked on and everything, and the doctor's sewing me up. Now, when I'm talking about, because I split, the doctor literally, like, he wanted to sew my whole cooch up. I swear to God, like, if he knew he could get away with it, he probably would have sewed my whole cooch. And I'm so serious because I split, but it wasn't all the way up. Like, he sewed half of my vajayjay up. I had like a little piece, a little hole left, and I didn't know because I was in pain and stuff. I didn't find out until after being home and recovering that a lot of my vagina was sewed up. Not just the part that split, but like it was sewed up. I had a little bit, little bit of room of it, and it wasn't like that before. You know, crazy stuff. So, anyways, at the hospital, when I had my baby, I finally got to hold him and stuff and take pictures of him, things like that. Phil ended up getting there. His mom came there. They held the baby, took pictures of the baby. He looked exactly like Phil. They knew that was his son. They never questioned if it was his son or not. They never even asked for like you know, a blood test to see, make sure that was his son or anything like that. They were supportive in that side. And so After, oh, before they left and I stayed there the next morning, all my counselors and stuff from my school and things like that wanted to come and see the baby and take pictures of the baby. And I remember this one counselor, I don't remember her name, it was a black lady, and she had her son young, and so that's why she went into doing that, becoming a counselor for young teenage moms. She wanted to see my baby. So I walked around to the nursery to go get my son, and I know what he looked like. I know every part about him because when I had him in the room with me, I, looked at everything. I just fell in love with him. I looked at every piece and bit of his body, birthmark, where his birthmark was, just everything about my baby. I wanted to know. So I took her to the, shut the door. I gotta pee. Okay, I took her to the nursery to go get my baby, and when I went inside, I have a wristband and the baby has a wristband. When I went inside, I know my baby because it had our last name. It says baby so and so, the last name. So I go over there. They had to sign the baby out. So I go over there and I rub my baby's face like this. And the nurse instantly got mad, like, don't touch him. I have to make sure that's your baby. I'm like, I know this is my son. Like, just everyone there was just really mean to me. So anyway, she like grabs my arm, looks at the number, looks at him. She goes, here, and signs me out. I just let all that, just left it alone. So that was the time that I had inside of the hospital with my baby. And then we got home and everything, and off, the family who didn't mind came by and seen him and took pictures of him and everything like that. And he was a beautiful baby. He didn't scream and holler and cry. My mom helped me in the middle of the nights when he would wake up crying and stuff like that. And my mom showed me how to feed him, breastfeed. And I stayed at home with my baby all the time. I didn't go out run the streets. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't do nothing. It was all my baby, all the time. Phil stayed around in the picture. We stayed together. And we actually ended up having 2 more kids. And we are married now. So me and Phil. Can we get my lightsaber? Okay, hold on. This is one of our youngest. Me and Phil have been married now going on 2 years. And we've been together ever since, though we just didn't get married. But me and Phil have been together ever since. And we have 3 children together. And it's been a rocky road, but a good one at the same time. So I hope I did a good job. And this was my first video being a teenage mother. And it was very difficult, but it was a blessing at the end, and I wouldn't have changed anything. And now I am married to the man that I lost my virginity to, and that I have had all my children by. And so that's the end of my story. And thank you, and goodbye.